Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a technical audit of the digital validation mechanics that govern complex petition uploads, like the form I-129. We're skipping the generic advice today. Instead, we're looking at a dedicated expert report on digital filing architectures to isolate the absolute critical rules you have to follow so you don't instantly put your PDF upload into an automatic hard rejection mode. Okay, let's map out our structured analysis for today. We'll be walking through the digital validation mechanism itself, the security restrictions, naming constraints, linguistic compliance, and finally, the error resolution protocol. Starting with Section 1, the digital validation mechanism, the automated gatekeeper. So, technical analysis indicates that before a real human ever even lays eyes on your file, it hits an instantaneous automated scan. Think of this mechanism as a totally binary bouncer at the door. It evaluates your file's structure completely independent of the actual content. It really doesn't care how compelling your evidence is, right? If the digital architecture of your PDF doesn't perfectly match the system's parameters, the gatekeeper just jams. Basically, no structural compliance, no entry. Moving right along to Section 2, Rule 1, Security Restrictions, and the unintended consequence of encryption. Now, this rule addresses a really classic clash between what the user wants and how the system is actually built. It's totally natural to want to encrypt your files or use password protection, especially with highly sensitive corporate or personal data. But here's the catch. That exact encryption acts like a massive digital brick wall. The automated gatekeeper literally cannot see inside an encrypted file to verify its format, so it just defaults to a safety protocol, which is immediate rejection. To get past the gate, you absolutely must upload standard, unencrypted PDFs. All right, Section 3 brings us to Rule 2, Naming Constraints and Syntactic Protocol. You know, the digital portal operates on a highly restricted syntactic protocol. It completely ignores universal character sets. When you're naming that PDF file on your computer, you are limited exclusively to English letters, numbers, spaces, periods, hyphens, underscores, and parentheses. That's it, the whole list. If you include even a single unauthorized symbol, like an ampersand or a random accent mark, it instantly triggers a validation error and stops your upload cold. That takes us to Section 4. Rule 3, Linguistic Compliance, which is especially important when managing foreign evidence. So, linguistic compliance gets incredibly complex when your petition relies on international evidence. The foundational requirement here is that the primary PDF form has to be drafted 100% in English. The machine is literally hunting for specific English language data points to map back to its database. If that core document has foreign text in any of its fillable fields, the scan fails. But interestingly enough, the highest rate of non-obvious errors actually happens in the supporting attachments. When your supporting documents are in a foreign language, you have to execute this exact 3-step loop to stay compliant. Step 1, submit the original document. Step 2, attach a mandatory full English translation. And Step 3, attach a formal translator certification to validate it. If even one link in this 3-part chain is missing, your evidence is just procedurally invalid. And the expert report points out a brilliantly non-obvious detail here that traps so many filers. Foreign evidence files often default to native alphabets or accents when you save them on your local drive. This means a user could be focusing so hard on Rule 3, getting that translation perfectly right, that they accidentally violate Rule 2. They try to upload the Spanish or French original, but the file name has an accent mark in it. The system isn't rejecting the translation, it's rejecting the unauthorized character in the file name. It's just a compounding technical failure. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the Error Resolution Protocol, or how to escape the rejection loop. So, what actually happens when the automated system halts your upload due to a formatting issue? Like, say you accidentally left a password on or used a weird character in the file name. What's the required protocol to bypass that error state? Well, according to the audit, a major insight here is that the system architecture absolutely does not allow live in-place editing. You can't just patch a flawed document while you're in the digital workspace. Instead, the system forces a hard reset. You literally have to delete the rejected file entirely from the portal, go back to your local hard drive, fix the source file, and initiate a completely fresh upload. Because of this hard reset rule, you have to be super strategic. You need to follow these 4 steps, and step 1 is the real lifesaver. It is absolutely vital that you document all the generated error alerts at once before you delete the file. The system's diagnostic scan will list every single structural flaw it found. If you just fix the first error on the list, delete the file, fix it, and re-upload,
the system is just going to reject it again for the second error. If you don't document everything right off the bat, you risk falling into this agonizingly repetitive cycle of single-fix uploads and endless rejections. Because ultimately, understanding these strict technical mechanics, the security blocks, the naming syntax, the linguistic rules, and that hard reset error loop, is the absolute mandatory first step before your actual arguments can ever be heard. You can have the most compelling case in the world, but if your PDF is encrypted or has an ampersand in the title, it simply ceases to exist within the system. So, I'll leave you with this provocative thought to consider. When you are preparing these complex professional filings, are you remembering to build for the machine, or are you just writing for the human?